Hi, welcome back to Balanced Health Information Podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Lugine. Let's get into it. Let's talk about HIM. Let's talk about HIM. Let's talk about all the history of HIM. Let's talk about HIM. Today's episode is clearly going to be about the history of health information management. And I think it's important to always discuss the beginning of how a department, how a field came to be what it is to be now, a powerhouse. The history of health information is deeply intertwined with the evolution of healthcare itself. From its humble beginnings as a simple recording, a record keeping, to its current role as a cornerstone in the modern healthcare. HIM has played a crucial role in advancing medical terminologies, knowledge, improving patient care, and ensuring healthcare efficiency. So early beginnings. We have our pre-modern era, chaos I like to call, era, while written records were being maintained and observed and existed as far back as ancient civilizations, and formal systems for managing healthcare did not exist yet, but later did emerge. But of course, this is pre. And then we go into our 19th century where things are starting to develop, right? We have the Industrial Revolution. All my history majors out there, all my history, all those that enjoy history, basically, out there. We have the Industrial Revolution, which has impacted America tremendously, right? We have significant advancements in major industries, but as well as healthcare, including establishing hospitals, and then also developing the standardization of medical terminologies, as well as creating a new and more organized, basically systematic way of record keeping, which is the goal. And then we have the 21st century, my time. Now we're coming closer to what we're familiar with. The early 20th century, when the American College of Surgeons recognized the importance of accurate and complete medical records to improve patient care and outcome. So the American College Association, we're going to call it ACS for short, in 1928 established the Association of Record Librarians of North America, which then later became AHIMA, American Health Information Management. So it made sense that we were considered librarians. We're still in some sort librarians when maintaining records instead of books. It's patient records. And this is the time when we started developing the paper records, having to retain the retention policy and methods of those records. So the required standardization and accreditation became necessary. And AHIMA played a pivotal role in developing those standards of medical records, promoting education and training of health information professionals, as well as establishing accreditation for programs for education. We have programs from KHAM, etc., that does go into and seem similar to a survey, such as Joint Commission, that comes in and surveys and makes sure that we are abiding by certain rules and regulations. Then later on, throughout the 21st century, we have the paper-based era, which I'm allergic to, very allergic to. Medical records were primarily maintained on paper, and you'll see even to this day, you'll see documents still on paper, such as patient consents. Anything that requires signatures are usually maintained on paper because of the difficulty of maintaining or even obtaining signature pads. It has been a daunting issue for us for many years. There could be system issues, breakdown issues, various reasons why those papers still exist. And it's still reliable in a sense because nothing hurts from, the wet signature being on that document. It's just the other side of that process is now having to scan it and being available for other providers that want to review those records in a timely fashion or for legal purposes. So having those records present in a timely fashion has always been a challenge in HIM. Not only that, but of course the presence of storage, retrieval, which is what I discussed, and then sharing that information is what I I discussed, has been not my ideal way or best practice of how I want to have records as a HRM director complete and ready for use. So with that being said, as you know, I am team EMR systems, team technology systems existing for that purpose of making it available. I understand that paper is reliable, but paper is not always 100% bulletproof. Same thing with technology. It's not always 100% bulletproof because it can get lost. And if we're not retrieving it in time, or if the units are not giving us those documents in time, we're actually really at the mercy of the units or whoever is the unit clerk or representatives maintaining those records on those floors that the patients are being cared for, and then someone from the HIM team will then have to retrieve those records, or vice versa. If it's delivered, you still have that you need the records to be sent to the HIM department in order to have those documents scanned into the system. So then we have healthcare records, which has been advent of computer revolutionizing healthcare, led the development of EHR, electronic health records, EMR, electronic medical records, with numerous benefits, including improving the access for patient information, enhancing clinical decision making, that clinical decision support systems that exist out there, alerting patients that this is your next appointment, or alerting providers, hey, do not prescribe this medication because the prior medications you prescribed that the patient is on can cause an adverse effect. It has done well for our society in present time. Also improving patient safety. Now that we have the barcodes, where we can scan barcodes on the patient I'm speaking on, where we can scan the patient name, information, and the medications that they're on while they're in the healthcare facility receiving care and providing the proper medication, doses, and etc. So technology in healthcare has driven data analytics, interoperability, which is what we want, where EHR has become more widespread, where not only is it only in your facility, but you can also share that data if the patient has to consent. Disclaimer out there, patient has to consent to have their information exchanged across healthcare facilities, their primary care physician, or any other disciplinary that they are visiting, to have their information shared. This is called the Regional Health Information Exchange Systems organizations, many names. So, as I was saying, EHR has become more widespread, where there is a growing emphasis on data analytics and interoperability. This enables healthcare organizations to extract valuable, insightful information on patient data and to facilitate information sharing across different systems, which I find very beneficial. It eliminates duplicate testing for patients, duplicate medical bills that the patient may receive because they are going to different facilities and then have to get retested in case they have run into issues where they are not able to retrieve their medical records, or if it's not retrieved in a timely fashion. Having that tool exist, yes, it can be expensive. It's just as expensive as having an interface tool within your facility. But now within a network or within other facilities, it can be expensive, but it is beneficial. And that if our goal is, and should be, is patient care, being patient-centered and healthcare delivery, this is a great tool to have and should be promoted more often. So then we have emerging technology systems such as artificial intelligence, AI, which has its benefits, and we're going to get into it in later episodes about artificial intelligence. Machine learning, blockchains are also having a significant impact on HIM. These technologies can help automate tasks, improve data quality, enhance patient privacy and security. Because as technology does become more prevalent, we do want to ensure that we are sensitive to the fact and aware and not ignorant to the fact that there are cyber attacks. We'll get into that as well in later episodes, because I would love to discuss and maybe hopefully make that a live where we can talk about those who have been impacted by cyber attacks. I have not been a part of a cyber attack, but I have been at the tail end where we had to basically rebuild and come together in becoming normal, having that normalcy within our business. And of course, I'm going to invite other healthcare professionals that I have in my team, in my corner, that I know very well, that have been impacted and has been boots on the ground and seen in real time what was happening. And then we also have issues where something recent as a crowd strike, where Microsoft did an upgrade back in July 19 of this year, and a lot of healthcare facilities across the board. I wouldn't say handicap, because we still you should best practice maintain paper records or paper forms in case of an emergency, of downtime, of these kind of issues. So my facility we were pretty on it. We had a meeting that day. Each department pitched in, and of course then my department received those records, and I already had a plan of how we were going to ensure those records were present in the EMR system once the EMR was back up and running. So it's always important to always have a knowledge of how the workflow was prior to technology. We never want to be like, I don't know, we can't do, our hands are tied, we just have to sit and wait as sitting ducks to see what our next step is. That is not a goal that we should always have. There should always be a backup plan. There should always be backup generators as well. But in this case, it was an upgrade which wiped up majority of where we're located in New York City, hospitals, EMR system, that they were not able to have access either later in the afternoon or even at the end of workday. There was no fare because of the paper documentations that were maintained. So every time a new form is created in an EMR system, the paper version should exist as well, and it should be maintained by the forms committee, and we'll get into that as well. Any of your questions that you have, please put it on the IG comment on the Balance HI podcast on IG, and I'm glad to discuss it. We can talk about it in real time. I can invite you guys as guests, and we can discuss this. That's the whole goal of this platform. I wanted to create this so prospective HIM professionals, or even current, that do have issues that was never discussed or need some kind of guidance. This is going to be your hub. This is where I want all of us to come together and have a safe haven, kind of like a guideline. Now, what's being discussed in this podcast, you don't have to do it 100%. This is just a suggestion. This is just a meeting of the minds of, this is what I went through, this is what my peers went through, and maybe this can help having those tools on hand. So, in today's health information, professionals play a vital role in ensuring accuracy, completeness, and security of patient health information. They work to support clinical decision-making, improve healthcare quality, and advance medical research. So please, again, if you would like for me to discuss any HI topics, drop comments on Balance HI Podcast IG now, and let's get into it. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to hear from you guys, and I'm excited to give you guys more episodes. Let's talk about HIM. Let's talk about HIM. Thank you guys.